episode of Bits and Caffeine every 2 weeks. That's what we play for every 2 weeks. Don't worry.
It's always been 2 weeks. It always
Yeah,
will
what are
be.
you guys talking about? It hasn't been like 3 to 4 weeks, depending on when this episode airs. I don't know, depending on how long Alex takes to edit the video. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Bits and Caffeine. And today we have a lovely show lined up here for you. We start off with some lovely 30-minute conversation about everyone's favorite topic of this year, AI. And then we're going into another host trials episode, which is a little bit of a secret this time around, as it always is. But anyways, before we do any of those things, Alex, how have you been?
I've been good. I basically did, same old. Done some trips recently. I know you have too, but yours mostly for work. Mine, some for work, some for vacation. But yeah, no, I've been good.
That's good. Have you been doing any gaming? You've been on that COD grind, huh?
I've played COD a few times, but that's about it. Basically, just been helping my sister level up her guns.
That's right, everybody. We are a true gaming channel.
I haven't played any video games aside from that.
I
haven't touched anything.
We're not fully gaming, don't worry. We do tech, which is actually in relation with our lovely topic for today. Technology. We're going to be discussing a little bit when it comes to AI and how AI is affecting the technology market. That could be either through data centers, through corporations, or OpenAI itself. See how kind of the pros and cons of it. I have a little bit of pros, a little bit of cons. We're going to discuss that here. Everyone else has an opinion on it as well. If you have an opinion that, or you think one of our opinions are stupid, Alex, what can they do with that?
You can comment that. You can go to wherever you're listening on. I'm pretty sure most of them have like some sort of commenting feature, so you can throw it there. We also have a YouTube channel. If you want to go comment bomb us there, we'd appreciate that. We are called Bits and Caffeine, just in case anybody was concerned, and didn't know what the name was. So you can find us on YouTube with that, or you can go to bitsandcaffeine.com and you'll find us there as well.
Yeah, we have our lovely website. You can take a look at bitsandcaffeine.com for all this information. Don't forget the M at the .com. And yeah, so anyway.
I think it's only you that forgets the M at the .com.
Do you not know about that? Wait, do you not know? Do you not?
No, what about the link?
Here, look up Bits and Caffeine without the .com without the. All right, I planned this out meticulously. And don't say anything. Don't give any specifics. All right. Just to let everyone kind of for those
I did
lovely
not know
listeners.
about that. I did not.
For those lovely listeners, Alex is basically looking very disappointed right now. But if you want to figure out what that is specifically, then take a look at caffeine.co. But anyways, let's get this show on a road here. Let's start off with some advantages. You want to start off first? Kind of go through one advantage, we'll discuss it, go through another advantage, kind of do, I guess, top 3 or 4 of both.
Sure. I mean, I think it's been around for a little bit. It's definitely hit the scene pretty heavy on a couple of years back, and it's just been like around since then. It's featured in just about everything since OpenAI's ChatGPT. Everybody knows it. Everybody uses it to some extent. It's involved now in video games with like voices. It's it's involved now. It's doing its own coding to some degree, not fully, but stuff like that. It can using ChatGPT. You have any question, it can answer it using its OpenAI model. Stuff like that. It's definitely, I think, one of the probably most common advantages of it is just simply its ability to search all of the different data points, like basically not all the data on the internet per se, but so much of the data on the internet, and then give an answer to you, something like a ChatGPT OpenAI model can do. Something that its ability to take on all that information and then just regurgitate it back to you in a almost human-like sentence and paragraph and form and everything like that so fast. And that's definitely an advantage. Can also be slightly terrifying with how good it is, but yeah.
Would you say that voice? So let's kind of walk through your list here. I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate just to make it kind of interesting with it. Would you say that voice in video games, when it comes to AI, do you think that's a pro or con, and why?
I think that's a little bit of a mixed bag.
Be very careful with what you say here. There are some people that are very particular on certain things. So
no, that's fair. I'm not even going to be careful. I'd rather we just make controversial statements if they're true. I think it's kind of a mixed bag, solely because I think we even really talked about this a few episodes back at some point to some degree. I think I remember we had kind of mentioned it, and that like certain game companies were paying people to use their voices, but it's a matter of, I guess, how much can they use their voices, what things they can do with their voices, stuff like that. It could definitely, for somebody, if they didn't sign off on it, if their voice is being used without their consent, I think that's definitely just wrong, I guess, to some degree.
I think we discussed this in the finals episode that we talked about, because the voice acting for that was AI generated. But when it comes to voice acting with AI, I think the only acceptable way to kind of go about doing that, other than we would like it to be realistic, obviously, but I think the only way that it would be acceptable between a voice actor and company transaction would probably be if they were licensing the voice instead of actually just paying outright for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, now it's up to the voice actor to kind of choose between one or the other, but I think the best way to go about doing that would be to do a licensing for it, which if anybody has to come up with the idea of having a company like that, just to license out voices, have voice actors, those voice actors get a percentage of money, you get a percentage of money while transacting with the gaming company. Good idea, there you go. But I think, in my opinion, even though most people on X and other online places don't agree fully with AI voice acting, I think AI voice acting will become more and more mainstream due to the low cost and probably ease of working with that, which may be a little controversial, but I think agree. That is kind of the point with that.
I mean, just think about it when you're playing a specific video game, like one of your favorites or whatever, and the different voice lines that you have. I'll throw out Call of Duty specifically, but like you hear the same things over and over and over again. Of course, they have a solid amount of voice lines, but you play the game long enough, you're going to hear the same thing said 5 times, and it may not particularly bug you, but the developer's ability to do all the same things and just use some sort of AI voice and then triple, double, 10x or 20x the amount of different voice lines, using this using some sort of an AI, that's just like, that alone would save them money, but also kind of make your feeling of immersion better, especially if they're like, get to the point, they're basically saying your username at you, assuming your username is something that can be said, something that can be said without like slurs or something like that. But them spitting your username back at you, it can be a very immersive experience. Especially, I think one thing, Fallout 4, there was a lot of there were a lot of different usernames you could use when like creating your player in Fallout 4. That certain players, NPCs would actually use that name as opposed to just like the player name created for you, whatever. And that definitely adds to the immersion of the game. And I think voice, like an AI voice could only add to the immersion even more, like to an extent where there's just like, it's way more that you can do with that in terms of immersion that you could do with, paying someone to do voice act, no matter how long you get them in the studio. So I definitely think it's kind of a cool thing. I understand that, without some sort of a licensing, if they're just like outright paying these people to use their voices, that can be a little controversial, especially if you go, $250 to some specific person for the right of their voice, and then that's used everywhere. And now like millions of people hear it all the time, and they're like, wow, I could have gotten much more money if I just did that myself or something like that. Then I definitely agree. Some sort of like licensing would probably be the best way to go about it, but also not sure how much developers really will end up doing that in the future. But yeah, no, I think it's very cool. And I think it has its upsides and downsides off of that. So that's why I kind of think it's like a mixed bag. It's cool, but I agree that there's some questions, and I understand why some people are a little mad about it.
Yeah, kind of sticking. Let's kind of stick with the gaming aspect for now, and then we'll move over to the tech industry here in a little bit. Kind of going off of what you said in terms of a more lifelike experience, I think AI for gaming would be a positive for, I would say, 2 main reasons what I look for when it comes to AI in gaming. That's going to be reinforcement learning. That's a really big thing. So I cannot for the life of me think of a game off the top of my head that uses it. I know games use it already, and probably used it before this whole AI boom that happened. But a whole concept of having an enemy that is trial and error. Can you think of anything for that?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, an NPC or a enemy type that would use trial and error and be like, oh, don't go that way this time, or don't do that. I know it's in gaming. I just cannot for the life of me think the reason for it. Kind of in relation with that, we did an episode on Left 4 Dead 2. I recommend watching that and listening to that audio. That's great. That was when we were really iffy. It comes to we're still iffy when it comes to podcasts, but the way that Left 4 Dead 2 is set up is it has an invisible director that will learn how the player plays and be able to spawn more enemies or spawn more loot or spawn less enemies depending on how you're playing and depending on how you do. Now, that concept already built before AI was a huge big thing, but now that AI is becoming more mainstream, that could be a lot easier.
Yeah, that's fair. To basically design the game that you're playing around how you're playing it.
Exactly. So every experience is a little bit different, even though it's the same map. If you're sprinting through it, they spawn more enemies to slow you down. If you're going really slow, they'll spawn less enemies and more loot or something like that. Now, that kind of adds on to the other thing of with NPCs, and I would like the concept of a more lifelike interaction, if possible, with them. It'd be really cool if, let's say, you're on an MMORPG game and you're actually having a conversation with somebody. It is very clunky right now with any type of thing that I've seen built before it. I don't know if you can think of anything specifically. I don't even know. For some reason, my brain is wanting to think Starfield had it. I don't know if that's true or not. But...
Yeah, like you're talking like NPCs that are actually AI and not, voice lines. They're not like, just destined voice lines and stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, or something in the regards to that. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, no, I don't think Starfield had that. But yeah, no, that would definitely be very cool if basically every single NPC you ran into, like, obviously they're not humans, but they actually, think in a way. Not fully, but like they have they model themselves and like their responses and everything about how the player plays and everything. That would be that could definitely lead to a much more immersive experience and pretty cool. And also replayability of the game, because you go through a specific video game playing as like a stealth character, and then you go through playing as a herbalist, and the next time you probably would have a very different experience with a lot of people that way. So yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that AI is a good step for games. Now, can you think of any negatives for AI in gaming before I go into a tangent? Because I'll go into a tangent.
I can always expect you to go into a tangent.
I will go into a tangent about this because I am people will not like it, but I am very particular when it comes to certain things that I will get into once Alex talks.
Fair enough. I'm not really sure if I can come.
Anyway,
I'm not sure off the top of my head if I can think of anything like major. I'm sure there are definitely some things that would come to mind eventually, but no, nothing else outside. I mean, the voice lines one is something we talked about, so obviously that has its disadvantages. But I wouldn't call that a con.
It just depends on how it's set up. That's basically it.
I agree. Yeah, no, past that, I can't really think of anything. Any other specific cons for gaming?
All right, here I go. Listen here. All right. Blockchain. AI with the blockchain, with NFTs and stuff. Personalized game assets. All of that crap. I don't want it. I don't want it in a game. I don't want NFTs in games. I know everybody loves it, but it's not for me. One. And two, adding programs like whatever AI image program you're thinking of to make items as well as just generated content within a game, I don't like. I don't think it, most of the time, it doesn't deserve to be in gaming. Now, that's really controversial, and I kind of disagree with it as I say it, because I believe that gaming is whatever you want to do in a game. But I just feel like with AI, that it comes into a couple big issues. One, copyright, if you're using the user's work, like with audio, music, with images. They already have issues with AI and images, like Midjourney and whatnot. There you go, I remember the name of it. But yeah, it's always just kind of a gray line. And I think that it needs to be worked on and maybe good in the future. But I stand with whatever. Good on them, I guess. If they can make an AI game and they can make an AI game in relation with Web3 and the blockchain, then more power to you, even though I don't agree with it fully.
Fair enough.
What are your thoughts on that?
Won't lie, I don't really have many thoughts with I haven't really thought about it, I guess, but yeah, I mean, I guess I agree that I'm not really the biggest fan of NFTs and stuff like that. It's just not my forte. I also don't really know that much about it, so we'll throw that out there. So,
all right, if any NFT games want to sponsor us for an episode, we'll do a whole entire host trials episode based upon your NFT game. Rules are simple. If it's bad, I will say it's bad. So better be good. I'm going to make a short. This will be the first short that ever comes out in relation with our podcast episode. All right? It's going to be about that. I love the mute button of me just dying of laughter so no one has to hear that. Anyways, let's move on. AI in the tech industry is a big thing, mostly because a lot of companies, now that OpenAI is a thing, is pushing for it. Either with corporations that think that they can make their own AI or corporations that just take the API of OpenAI. I literally just said their name, OpenAI, and do edits to it. You want to start us off here with some pros and cons of the tech industry?
Sure. I would definitely think. Okay, well, when we're talking the tech industry, we're talking like coding, but also just like products and stuff like that too. Is that kind of where we're
coding, data centers, tech in general, like AI and hardware or whatnot, just AI in the tech industry itself. Kind of like, for example, just some quick things I can throw off the top of my head. Obviously, faster data information and whatnot. Obviously, able to do a lot more calculations and whatnot. Speed is a big thing, and accuracy as well, depending on code-wise. I'm trying to think off the top of my head some other things. It's probably the best when it comes to problem solving as well with issues. That kind of thing, if you want to continue on from there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I definitely think, especially since the big surge of AI, it's definitely progressed a lot of things forward with that. I mean, now every single company, Google, Microsoft, Apple, every single one of them is making plays in the AI business for a good reason. Yeah, in terms of coding wise, it definitely, you may or may not remember, there was I think this video that came out a while back where there was basically this one guy showing how this AI program could actually code itself and could physically create its own programs from scratch. Ironically, that was basically disproved and that it was all not a joke per se, but it was fake. But we are veering towards that eventually, where you can basically just take an AI model and then give it a prompt, and then it can just make the whole thing. I still think we're pretty far from that, and that's a good thing. I think the fear of people losing jobs, which that's I guess one con we'll get into later. But it definitely progresses forward every aspect of the tech industry outside of gaming, in terms of ability to move stuff. I wouldn't really get much on the data center stuff since I don't really work with that. But every aspect of problem solving and stuff like that, it can be solved faster using AI sometimes, and that definitely is one way in which it helps a lot in terms of moving things forward. I guess it's just it's faster, not always more accurate, but I guess that's one thing. If it was faster and more accurate than people, then people would be out of jobs, and that would be, I guess, one big con. But
yeah, the big con with that is obviously the job loss, but a great example on why tech companies shouldn't just jump on AI. We are not in a place where we can depend on AI fully right now, and it shows a great example. I'm going to roast Google for a little bit, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, please.
Please don't sue me. Some great examples of Google losing money. Here we go! When they first announced AI, because they freaked out that Microsoft dropped AI, and it was amazing. The whole entire presentation was great. Google tried and lost $10 billion or $100 billion due to that, because they screwed up. There's a couple fatal errors in the first demo, if I remember correctly. I don't remember what specifically, but I think it was the wrong information. But some other things. Here's a good one. Google lost $70 billion in market value after their chatbot decided to show some images that were a little too woke for people. I don't remember what specifically happened there. I do remember that coming up, but I kind of ignored it at the time. And kind of another example. They have a crap ton of examples here. The chatbot giving incorrect answers managed to drop the share price by 9%. Google cannot win.
Yeah,
Google could just not win at all.
I think Google might be a perfect example of just shooting, jumping the gun, I guess. They had something, but it wasn't actually done, and they tried to go forward with it. And I think that's one thing with AI. It's like it can be extremely powerful for whatever tasks you try to design it for, but it's also extremely volatile too. Like it's not always perfect, and it thinks it is. I wouldn't say it thinks it's perfect per se, but it's 100% confident about its answer, even though it's not always 100% correct. So that's just one way of putting it. Like for example, even ChatGPT, which is probably one of the most consistently used and consistently referred to things in terms of AI, it can sometimes just be blatantly wrong. I think most of the time it's not, which is one of the reasons people that had no idea, never used AI, had no idea, no investment in AI before ChatGPT became popular. You started using ChatGPT because of how consistent it was, but even ChatGPT, which is probably one of the most consistent ones, is sometimes just flat out wrong. And if all you do is refer to ChatGPT about a very specific task or whatever, then you might actually just be straight up wrong. But I think in terms of stuff like that, I think Google probably is the perfect example of doing it before they were done with it. So yeah, which was leading to hundreds of billions of dollars, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and I won't say that all companies are getting screwed by AI. I think NVIDIA is a great example of a company that's being able to use AI, and I think they're doing pretty well, especially when you look at how NVIDIA is the highest stock.
Yeah,
their stock price is insane. Yeah, I think NVIDIA has some good holdings on it. I do believe, obviously, one of the main issues with AI and tech is the ethical stuff. So lost jobs, just not really being able to, what's the best way to put it? I guess training data is a great example, especially because taking training data that may not be the best ethically, or maybe somebody else's work that you're just basically stealing. But those two are kind of the main things. People don't like AI. Some great examples are the art community, who just don't like it due to a creative standpoint, and also it's seen as lazy. So AI in games is a great example again with using it. Yeah, just that kind of stuff. I feel like nowadays companies we still have a limited understanding of AI, even though we're getting to the point where we're going to be on a plateau of we can't go further with AI because we don't have the hardware for it. I think we're getting to that point now, and I think companies are starting to realize that. And I think companies are still trying to throw AI into anywhere they can as a buzzword. We don't need AI in everything. It's not going to be sustainable at all. I think NVIDIA, even though they're doing great with AI, are realizing that it's not sustainable eventually. They may get to a point, but right now, with the amount of storage and data centers they're racking up for these AI, it's getting a little much. Northern Virginia is dying. Too many data centers here. Go somewhere else. They don't like our kind. They don't like our data center kind up there in Northern Virginia.
No.
But yeah.
I mean, I think, I agree that, I think a lot of companies are just trying to get into it as if it's a trend. They're throwing the word around. They're being like, hey, can we just use AI to do this? When in reality, it's what they really, a lot of them, honestly, or a lot of things I've ran into with specific people, I guess, is they're not even really they don't even really want an actual AI model. They don't want somebody to work on, train that. What they want is just something to be automated. Like they don't. And this is probably, maybe I'm not sure this is something you've experienced with, but a lot of times I've like heard people talking about it. It was like, well, what if we create an AI to do this? And I'm like, that's not an AI. It's just simply like it's a website that just does this for you. And like I think some people get it kind of confused because the word's just all over the place.
AI is a buzzword. It's not even like half of the like you were saying, half the time it's not even actual AI. It's just a buzzword used by corporations that think that people will see it and be like, ooh, shiny new AI, when really it's just the same thing that was always been there.
Yeah.
Like a great example is that rabbit. What is it? It was like that personal assistant little rabbit button thing. I think the concept is a great idea, but like I think it was when you look into the code or something, someone said that it's just taking in input. So you have to say specific things or else it won't work. So people are like, wow, this AI is great, when really it's just like, if user says, then do this.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, yeah, I think so many people confuse automation with AI, which is understandable, especially if you don't, live in that world where you understand technology that much. You see this one thing that's like, hey, I put in ABC and it gives me back 1, 2, 3. It's an AI, right? I think
sounds like an AI to me.
It sounds like an AI. No, it's just I think a lot of people just genuinely confuse AI because it is a buzzword that's thrown around everywhere in the last few years. I think they just confuse just general automation with that. And I mean, I wouldn't even say that that's a terrible thing per se, but like, it definitely has confused me a few times when someone asks for it, and I'm just like, that's not what that is. But yeah, that's pretty much.
I think when it comes to AI models, I think personally that Siri is a great example of a buzzword that it's not an AI buzzword, obviously, but I think the concept of Siri being kind of like a chatbot with AI, I think Siri is one of the ones that needs to be worked on a little bit more with AI, because there is not much you can do with Siri. In the long run, Siri is not well designed. I think it needs to be redesigned and maybe actually use AI and see if they can do more with that. They probably have some kind of AI system, but I think Siri is a great example.
It's not fully.
Yeah.
I'm as you know, I'm not an Apple dude, so I got Alexa. Not that I use it very often, but that's basically my version.
On you.
Probably. That's fine.
Never trust the Alexas. They're spying on you. The government's watching. Big Brother's
She's actually
watching.
Blinking green right now. So
what does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I actually don't. Oh, I think that means it has like a notification for me, but I'll figure that out later. I don't use it very often. It's honestly not even plugged in half the time, but it's there.
What does the green light mean? It means you have an incoming call or drop in session.
It's blinking. It's definitely
It's blinking green?
Yep. Yeah, actually, I don't know what that means. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually don't know. I might have said Alexa.
Hold on. Tell Alexa to answer call.
Alexa, answer call. She said there's no incoming call.
So what's the point of the green light?
Alexa, what's the green light for?
I don't think the podcast can catch that up.
Pending notifications. I was right. Yeah.
All right, well, what is the notification?
I'm going to get doxxed. Alexa.
I can cut it in.
Yeah, no, obviously.
It's fine.
Alexa, what's the notification? It's a weather alert.
Why do you use that setup?
I don't know. I swear I didn't do that intentionally. Anyway, yes, I use Alexa and not Siri, but I kind of agree. It's the same thing. There's not that much you can do with it, but you turn that into, if it could function a lot like ChatGPT, then it would be a lot more than it currently is. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, anyways, I think this is a good part to kind of leave it off at. If you guys have any ideas, suggestions, thoughts, or whatnot, go to any of our social medias and add it. We don't really use Twitter too often. I recommend just going to the YouTube video and commenting down there for now. We don't have any kind of Twitter presence, so that's one big thing. But yeah, anyways, if you guys want to check out any of our information at all, it's byte-sized.com. But anyways, we're going to be going over to host trials here in a little bit. Ask you anything left to say?
Nope. We'll see y'all soon.
And we're back to another lovely episode of Host Trials. Totally not recorded, multiple weeks apart.
Yeah, we wouldn't do that to you guys.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like our last recording, I think, was about a month ago because we've both been extremely busy or anything.
Shh. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
That's all good. But anyways, on this lovely episode of Host Trials, Alex, what do we got for them today?
So today we've got one that we technically we have played this game before. Both of us have played this game before, and we've actually made a video about it before as well. But they have like some new updates and they added some mods. But today this video is about, or this Host Trials is about Lethal Company, a game that we did play before, but they came out with a lot more mods. They've added a lot of like stuff into the actual base game itself, and we thought it would be a good idea to hop back into it. So that's
I'd probably say that Lethal Company is probably our most watched episode in terms of visual. So might as well kind of go back right to it. This is not our 1 year anniversary video. Let me just say that for the record, even though it makes sense we play our most popular for 1 year. But the next episode will be that. So just a heads up to everybody. But we did instead to play Lethal Company, but we want to make it more special, not just with the new updates and whatnot, but also with over 200 mods that were added throughout the time of us playing.
Yeah, we had a lot of few issues with that. It kind of comes to track. The more mods you download for Lethal Company, the more your games start to crash, and you have various issues. But when we ran into some of those, but we were able to get a solid amount of those figured out. As we were playing it, like we got more people. Like we played a few different sessions. We got more people in the beginning, and then different people later towards the end. We also had more mods towards the end. So if you're watching the video, you see it start off with a certain number of people, certain people, and then it kind of changes as we get down later in the line. But yeah, that's pretty much that was like how the video went. We started. I don't remember exactly how many mods we started with. It definitely wasn't 200, but we eventually got to around like a little just over 200. So of course, we could say it was 200, but
we have to make it that titles pop.
Yeah,
200. I almost said Among Us. 200.
Lethal Company.
Lethal Company. Yeah. Oh my god, 200 Lethal Company mod gameplay. Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. There were a lot of mods that honestly we probably never even really got to see. But yeah, there were a lot of mods that like played on top of each other. It just made the entire experience different,
more entertaining.
I don't know.
More content.
I don't even know if it's more content. It's just more of everything. And it was fun. Honestly, I won't even lie though. I still find the base game pretty fun. But for anybody that has played Lethal Company, played it a lot, has kind of gotten to the point where it's just kind of boring. Then honestly, mods are kind of a perfect way to spice it up. The same with any game that allows modding. You can change the entire game with adding a few mods, or you can add 200 mods like we did and face multiple hours of games crashing. But it is what it is.
But I would like to say though, we did rewatch this episode before recording this portion of the episode. And I will say that the people involved in the recording of this episode, so props to Aubrey, Anna, those are the two that are usually in the episode in most gameplays that we do. Dougie, who did the not trailer, what is it called? He did the ad stuff for a couple of our earlier episodes. And then Brennan, who kind of jumped in last minute there. And
we also had
Murph as well. Yeah, and Josh. Yep. So we had a bunch of people join us throughout this entire portion of recording. We recorded about 3 different stints of it. So probably our most recorded, I'd say, most hours. We should probably do more when it comes to gameplay, but we only have a limited amount of time.
I don't know if it was most hours recording. I think we had a few. I think it was like 5 or 6 total, but I think we had a few other games where we actually hit over that.
I would say that in terms of, I think Lethal Company can get us a lot of funny clips in a short period of time compared to other games. I think one of the more drawn out games was probably The Hunt. I would say that one was pretty difficult to kind of get content on eventually.
Yeah,
just because of how long it was, and you kind of don't run into people as often as you would like to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Lethal Company as a game has been kind of a great way to make content, make entertaining episodes, and I think they're working or the one dev, is working amazingly. By the time we're recording this episode, or not episode, version 60 just dropped. So we don't have version 60 in the video, but just a heads, like, it looks interesting from what I've seen. But I think Lethal Company in and of itself is just a great game, and I don't go back to it as much as I would like to. I don't know. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's a great game. It's obviously, you know, not as played now as it was when it initially like boomed onto the market, but it hasn't died like a solid amount of other games. I mean, I don't want to say Helldivers died, but I do know that one. I've recently seen some stuff that their numbers have dropped significantly over the past like few months. But
it's about a little not update, but a little heads up on it. It's about, I'd say, about 2,000 behind Helldivers right now. So they're about 30,000 on Lethal Company and about 32,000 on Helldivers on Steam.
Okay. That's not bad for either of them, but especially for, you know, indie games, which we've already, you know, played and talked about and stuff like that. That's still pretty good numbers for a game that was $10 and was released by one person, Lethal Company at least. So yeah, that's I think it's a great game to play with friends. It's one of those you play it by yourself. It's just not fun. Like I mean, it maybe could be, but it's a game to play with friends. It won, like, I think last year's Steam Awards for Better with Friends for good reason. Yeah, no, it's a great game. It's one of my favorite games to play with friends, and I think you know, even if you're kind of getting bored of the normal stuff, which they as we've just seen, we just talked about, he keeps adding stuff, so I'm not entirely sure how you can get too bored with the main game, but even if so, you can download some new mods. There's tons coming in all the time. Super great game.
Yeah, let me update what I just currently said. Actually, Helldivers is 3,000 behind Lethal Company right now.
That tracks with more what I've heard recently.
Yeah, and also Hunt Showdown is above Helldivers right now. I don't know how to feel about that.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
No, that I'm surprised.
It has 1,000 more players right now than Helldivers. How the heck?
Maybe it's a bigger game than we initially, than we thought when we first played it.
It has a higher peak than both Lethal Company and Helldivers for today, with 55,000 people playing today. Is there
something? We're probably just bad, honestly. I mean, the same thing with like Rainbow Six Siege. Obviously, that's a big game. We did try to potentially make a video off of Rainbow Six Siege, and that did not go very well. So maybe Hunt Showdown was kind of a situation like that. Honestly, I don't think we did that poorly in Hunt Showdown with what we played, but we didn't love it as much as like some of the other games we've played. I think. But yeah, no, that's extremely surprising to me that they have that many players. Did they release something new recently? Maybe why?
I don't know. I don't really follow that. We got to call up our good old friend Randall from that episode and see what he says about it. But yeah, kind of back on topic with our Lethal Company episode, we wanted to kind of bring Lethal Company back as kind of a new game to jump back into by adding in mods to kind of make it seem a little bit different, but we still wanted to record it kind of because we wanted to jump back a little bit and just kind of blast the past for, I think it was about a couple months since between videos, which don't really come out to a lot when we look at it, because I think we would come out roughly, if we were doing it every 2 weeks, about how many videos a year?
Every 2 weeks would be like 25, 26.
Yeah, 25 to 26 videos, and we get to the point where we're kind of not running out of content, but it makes it more difficult to find games to play.
Yeah.
There are games out there. We are aware. We do have a list, but at the same time, it's just kind of like how much time do we have? A lot of the games that we want to play take a lot longer to make content on.
But also, like, Lethal Company is just Lethal Company, so it's always a great game to go back to. Plus, I will point out, which I think you know, but like when we initially played Lethal Company, of course mods were out, and that was like a big thing. And we had played some of that ourselves and with friends and stuff. However, we actually never recorded any of the mods when we initially played it. So like our initial video has no mods; it's just vanilla. Still a great video, I believe. If you want to check it out at Bits and Caffeine on YouTube.
Plug.
But I do believe so we didn't have any mods back then, and now we have not just mods now, but 200 plus mods, plus the base game itself is very different. So So I think it was a pretty good time to jump back into Lethal Company. Maybe if we waited one more week, we would have gotten the version 16 stuff. But I think we still got a lot more stuff that was new for this video and this host trials.
Yeah, I definitely think that we can. I definitely think everyone should watch that video. I think it's great. I say that even though we pretty much I think we make more views on these videos than we do on the podcast episodes, but whatever. But I think that the company in general has kind of grown pretty well, I'd say, even though it's lost its substantial player count. I still feel like the developer's still putting a lot of love into it, and you can definitely tell. And oh my god, the modding community is insane.
There's too many mods, honestly, and so many of them, ironically, like there's just so many like mods that work incredibly too well together. I guess is one way to put it. Just like there's like thousands. I can't remember the last time I saw, but I think it was like over 100,000. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of just like little things that mean basically nothing, but like, yeah, there's just huge community behind the modding of this $10 game that was made by a single person. It's just honestly kind of fun to see and fun to be a part of.
But oh my god, can we talk about the greatest, and I mean greatest greatest mod to ever grace Lethal Company?
I know exactly which mod you're thinking of, and you can see his excitement for it. Oh, okay.
Wait, what do you think it was?
I thought you were thinking it was the Fumo, but yeah, no, gambling.
The Fumo's great, but no, there's gambling. But you are able to spend your scraps to gamble with blackjack, slots, and a couple other things. It's fun. It's great fun. We lost so much money. Oh my god! But it seemed fun. I mean, there's a lot of other mods as well that are pretty fun. The mimic mod, where people say stuff in your voice, is pretty cool. We didn't really deal with that one as much. A couple other smaller ones I'm aware of is I think it was the mod where if you take that what do you call it off, you have like 2 minutes to get back to the ship, or else it blows up.
Oh yeah, that was pretty like facility meltdown, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, so all in all, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I enjoy the mod, so
yeah,
I enjoyed most of them.
It definitely makes like you can just add 10, 15 good mods, and they can make an entirely different experience. So yeah, playing with 200 plus mods where you can barely tell what's actually part of the game. I mean, you're basically just dancing halfway across the map, and then every single monster has different like theme songs, like the dog's Pac-Man. It's just a lot of stuff going on, kind of like brain meltdown. But it was fun. It was definitely a different experience for sure. And even if we had taken some out, put some more in, it could always be like something new to come back to every time.
Yeah, and I'll probably be playing Lethal Company throughout, but I mean, I have 27 hours in Lethal Company, which isn't a whole lot compared to a lot of other games I have. I think, personally, we got to bring back a new CS2 episode of Sugar. Or actually, was it CSGO
that was the first one
we played it, or CS2?
I actually don't remember. It might have just... No, I think it was
sure
CS2.
It was two. I think it was CS2.
I think it was 2. Yeah, I think that was like the whole point of like CS2 just came out. It's an episode. I think so. But I mean, we redid Lethal Company, and I think we make the rules.
Yeah, we make our own rules.
There's no higher power here telling us what to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we gotta. I think I would say kind of. I don't want to get too much into this because I feel like this would be an episode. This would be a conversation for our 1 year. But I definitely feel like there's a lot of games we can come back to in a way. I think we'll try to figure out some kind of way to do that. Yeah. I just realized while I was looking through our videos that actually Lethal Company is not our most watched. It's actually
the finals.
Why is it the finals?
Okay, it's just the video in and of itself, but like the actual shorts, I think if we counted that shorts across like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, I think Lethal Company is the number one. Ready or Not has some bangers on that as well, though.
Yeah, so I definitely think there's a lot, but all in all. I love everything we've done. I love this whole concept, but in terms of our Lethal Company episode, I definitely think people should watch that. I think it's hilarious. I love Lethal Company. It's great. The developer's doing a great job. Please don't screw it up. please don't be some kind of like pedophile or something.
That's the downfall for everyone these days, apparently.
It's gonna come out they groom kids or something, and it's over.
They not like us.
They're not like us. I'm gonna censor that. Don't worry. I'm gonna censor. It's over. It's over. Everyone, its careers are over.
Yeah. It's actually kind of crazy how many people this is not at all the topic of what we're talking about, but it is actually kind of crazy the number of people that's been the subject about for like just 2024 in general.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah. Mr. Beast, Dr. Disrespect.
He's coming back. He's coming back. Dr. Disrespect is coming back.
Is he actually going to come
back? We've got completely off topic. This is my favorite
That's
part.
what I'm saying. Yeah. No, it's actually kind of crazy the number of like. I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just kind of crazy the number of people that have been accused of that this year. just a lot.
I love how this is completely off topic now.
Extremely off topic.
Hear me out though. No, because he posted a photo. Okay, so let me explain this real quickly. I may cut this entire portion out.
Let's fine.
Talk about. So he posted a photo of him. A photo like aiming at him, and there's a chessboard between him and the camera. On his side, you see chess pieces. On the camera side, you see checkers. So he's just, which did not help. Let me just say, nobody liked that.
I don't see how he could. Like, I mean, I'm sure he'd still have a following. I'm sure a lot of them are 50 years old and in a basement and being like, "Yeah, let's go." No,
no one takes the dog.
I don't know how he could possibly come back, especially when it's. Yeah, I don't know. I think too many people would be coming for his head.
Yeah, but he also posted a thing saying vacation is too good right now. We'll be back soon, though, champs. We have a lot to talk about. Yeah. I have a strange suspicion that this entire setup has been a lie
about Dr. Disrespect.
Like he made a lie or something.
I mean, maybe. Have we seen proof yet? It's just the trend. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. I was never really like a fan of him. So it's just been a trend this year for that. So maybe he was like, you know what? I got the perfect idea on how to take a month off and then come back stronger than ever.
I don't know if he can come back after that one. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if that one.
Yeah, I don't think he could, but because I think too many. I don't know. It's
anyways. Leave the company.
Great game.
Bits and Caffeine. We're doing an episode on YouTube drama. From now on, we'll be discussing YouTube drama only. Screw host trials. Screw talking about technology or gaming or anything like that. This is only going to be YouTube
You know the crazy
drama.
thing is that actually, like, we might actually have a genuine amount of content on that.
Hello, welcome to Drama Alert. We're the new Drama Alert now.
We're not going to become... What's his name? Keem.
But anyways, I hope you all enjoy. Back to the main topic. I hope you all enjoy the YouTube video. Alice, where can they find that video at? I can't talk. Where can they find that video at?
At youtube.com, or you can go to bitsandcaffeine.com. Oh, you know what? I said those out of order. Bitsandcaffeine.com is our website. We have a YouTube channel, Bits and Caffeine. You can find us there. Either one of those two places.
Yes. Bitsandcaffeine.com or bitsandcaffeine.co, whichever one.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
because I worked really hard on .co.
We should get .coffee as well.
Ooh, .coffee, Bits and Caffeine. You know what?
Kinda
we're buying
fits.
every single domain.
Okay.
Or actually, would it be just like no? Because we can't. We don't have coffee as our title, so I don't know. But anyways, check us out bitsandcaffeine.com for all of our social medias. We don't have TikTok on that website because we post there, but we don't really pay attention. Sorry, TikTok. But yeah, if you guys want to check us out, please do so. Please send some love our way, or please send us some messages on what games you think we should play because we're running out of games.
Yep.
Even though I just said earlier in the episode that we have a list.
We do have a list. It's just not that great. We will take your suggestions. Thank you.
Exactly. Yes, very much so. And if you do send a suggestion, you may show up on an episode.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyways, that's us from here. We'll be back in about hopefully 2 weeks with our 1 year anniversary special. So check it out. Alex, you have anything else left to say?
No. See y'all later.
Bye.